Gronk is back. He's in Tampa Bay. If you haven't heard, if you haven't, you have now. And DraftKings has put out some prop bets based upon Gronkowski's potential performance and the Buccaneers' potential performance in 2020 now that Gronk and Tom Brady are reunited. Let's begin with the Buccaneers' odds for winning the Super Bowl. Chris, they have moved from plus 1,600, which means you win $1,600 for every $100 you bet, down to plus 1,200. So you win $1,200 for every 100 you bet. They have plummeted to a certain extent. Do you think that that is a smart move by the odds makers? And do you think it's a smart bet to consider putting up 100 to potentially win 1,200 on the Bucs winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I think if you got some extra change to throw around and you want to hit it big, to me, that's one of the places I would look. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I do believe in Gronk's ability to sway that line because I think Gronk's ability to stress a defense is still very real here. Again, I don't expect it to be the Gronk we saw from 4 or 5 years ago, but with the way Bruce Arians has a creative, aggressive offense, and now you add Gronk to Mike Evans and Godwin, like I was kind of saying during our show today, Mike, you split Gronk out to one side, and now you got Evans and Godwin on the other side. Like, holy cow, what do you do as a defense? Who do you double? Who do you send your attention to? They're going to really put some stress on schemes and how teams want to approach them now with this three-headed monster, as far as weapons for Brady.
Gronk also has an over-under for touchdowns this year at 5.5. He had 3 in 2018, but at times he has been a touchdown machine. Would you go over or under 5.5 touchdowns for Gronk?
Oh, that is a good one there. I think that I would probably pick over, but just barely. Like, I don't think it's going to be 10 or 11 touchdowns. I'm expecting like 6 or 7. I mean, that's a fair line there. But I think the biggest thing he's going to bring to that football team, again, when you get down into the goal line, right? Anytime they're inside the 10-yard line, they could just block it up. Oh, Evans, you go on one side. Gronk, you go on the other side. Brady can look at what matchup he likes better, and he can throw it up to two of the biggest, freakiest, best catch radius guys in all of football.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And look, he's the one guy that Tom Brady's going to be familiar with. He's going to be the guy where Brady is looking. And that, who do you double team? Right? That was what Brady didn't have last year in New England. There was no one in that offense that scared the defense enough to command double coverage all the time. So you're going to double Gronk? You're going to double Mike Evans. What are you going to do about Chris Godwin? That's going to be a potential mess for a defense to try to slow down this offense. And we know how Tom Brady makes quick decisions about who's going to be open, get him the ball. And Gronk, I think Gronk will go over 5.5. I would put the over under. I'd put it at 6.5 or 7.5. I think he's not coming back to have a mediocre year. He's coming back to have a big performance, and I think we're going to see it. That leads to the final one. Over under for Gronk's receiving yards this year, Chris, 599.5. Over or under?
Oh, wow. I'm going to go last year he had 682 his last year, right? He was playing. I'm going to go over again. I am. I'm going to go over. And again, I don't think it's going to be by much. I think he's going to be hovering. I think that's a fair number, but I think he gets into the mid 600s once again. I think with the way they're going to throw the ball, and just like we said, there's going to be certain downs and distances where I think teams are going to favor going, hey, let's put the attention on Mike Evans. Gronk is a little older. We might be able to get away with a one-on-one matchup. Plus, like you said, with Brady's comfort zone with him, I think when in doubt, he's going to look for Gronk. So I'm going to go over there as well.
And the other dynamic to remember here, the possibility that they will keep O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate and work Gronk in slowly and keep Gronk healthy, that would diminish the numbers. I'm tempted to go under on this one. I think he's going to be a touchdown machine, and maybe you'll see him in red zone situations, but maybe in the normal setting between the 20s, maybe we will see him less this year, at least until we get late enough in the season where he can't get over 600. So I'll go over on the touchdowns. I'll go under on the yardage. And
it's a good point, though, Mike.
If you've managed to make it this far, here's a little bit of news that I picked up right after our show ended. He is done with wrestling for now. He is going to submit to the requirement in his contract that he cannot that he cannot do anything other than play football. So if you see Gronk somewhere, Chris, pin him and you become the WWE 24/7 champion because he can't fight back.
Damn, I mean, I really might. I mean, if I see him out in the street, I might have to do something. I might have to tell one of my friends to kneel behind him, right? And like talk to him and then push him over and jump on top of him. I think that's what I might have to do.
One thing that I'll never forget is the first time that happened to me. Now, I'd like to say it only happened once, but when you're going down that first time, you don't have any idea what the hell's happening. When the person's down on their hands and knees behind you and you get the little shove, I'm surprised like somebody hasn't cracked their skull doing that.
Well, they probably have. It just hasn't been anybody famous for us to know about. But yeah, it still goes on in the NFL. I mean, you get out on a grass field and practice, you'll still see some of the young guys on a football team do that kind of crap. So you always got to have your head on a swivel on a football field. And when players hear that, if they get back into training camp and players hear that, I can guarantee you they're going to have fun with Gronk, and they're all going to pin him and make it a social video moment and go, come on, send me my belt. And now the WWE will get some more advertisement through that. So that'll be cool.
Hopefully that'll be happening in July and or August, because that will also mean that the world will have returned to some level of normalcy, that those things can happen. Time will tell. That's it for today's PFT OT. We'll be back on Thursday with PFT Live, getting you ready for the draft. Chris Simms Unbuttoned coming up later today. Plenty of PFT PM content as well. Thanks for some of your time, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.